What's up, guys? ACCardShark back with another episode of Flea Market Sundays. Heading out to Jake's Flea Market in Barto, Pennsylvania. I think that's how you say it. Never been there before, so this is a brand new experience for me. John is back with me again, and we're gonna head out to Jake's Flea Market and see what we can find. He's gonna be looking more for, I think, like the toys and the comics. As always, that's what he's into. So he'll be looking for that stuff. I'll be looking for the games, and we'll see what we can find. And yeah, obviously, you know, come back to the game room. I'll show you what I picked up.
You know what I mean, right? Yeah, exactly.
Alright, guys, back in the game room, back from Jake's Flea Market in, Barto, I think it is, Pennsylvania. First time we were over there, I didn't realize I didn't take a lot of footage. I just took that one shot that you saw, and I was more concentrating on finding games and checking the place out. So hopefully you got an idea. It's kind of like Sailorsburg, very outdoor, garage sale type booths. They do have some stores that they have there, but I did come home with a bag full of stuff, which is cool. Pieced it together over a bunch of different stands, and obviously I'll show you what's going on and what I picked up. Just want to empty the bag out here. First place I stopped at, just had some random games out. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything NES at all that I needed. So you know, it was just all. I mean, they had a lot of NES games, but stuff I had already. But the first place I stopped, I picked up 2 games for the original Game Boy. They were, I think, $4 a piece, I want to say he charged. But then I ended up getting a bundle deal anyway, so it may have worked out to be cheaper. First game I got was Yoshi for the Game Boy. And that's going to be one that I play on the Super Game Boy. So Yoshi, just an absolute classic. And then the second one I picked up, as you guys know, one of my favorite series of all time for the original Game Boy, that is Miss Pac-Man. And he wanted $4 a piece for those. I was like, it's like so-so, but I'd pay it. And then I saw he had a random box sitting there with controllers and everything else. He had the, what do you call it, NES Satellite, which I already have. But however, I don't have this piece of it, and that is the wireless sensor that plugs into the controller port, and it has the wireless sensor hooked up to it. And then when you plug into the satellite, you can, it beams to this. So I didn't have the plug that actually went into the system to then use it. So obviously now I picked that up. That was, what did he say? I think it was, he wanted $5 a piece for controllers. And I was like, you realize this is just a piece of a controller. It's not a controller. Like, it's just a part of it. He wouldn't budge on that. But unfortunately, I have never come across the sensor for that controller. So I did pick that up. The other thing I picked up from that bin is something that you don't come across too often. And it's in pretty decent shape, but it is an NES Max controller. I do have one. One of my YouTube subscribers did send me one of these a couple years ago. But like I said, it's harder to come across. You don't find them that often. So he wanted $5 a piece for the controllers, $4 a piece for the games. So it would have been $18. He knocked it down to $15 for the whole thing. So I was like, the 2 games, the sensor plus the NES Max, $15 I think is a pretty decent deal. I mean, the way I look at it, it was $4 a piece for the games. The NES Max was $5, and then if you knock $3 off, I basically paid $2 for that sensor, which is why I think he actually knocked it down, because it was right after I had mentioned that this is not a controller. It doesn't go with that controller. I think he knocked me down to $3 because of that. So $15, I'll consider that a good win. Next one I came across, they had just a couple of random cartridges. Mainly he was selling other items. But it had 2 games that I wanted. He had them marked, there were 6 games that he had, that was it. And he had them marked $10 a piece, which was way too high. I asked him how much, he goes 10, he goes, I'll take 8. And I was like, the one game was like, alright. And I was like, what if I take 2 games, and can you bundle them? He goes, yeah, I'll do the 2 for 15. So he knocked them down to $7.50 a piece. He told me he would actually give me all 6 for $36. Unfortunately, I just didn't need the games that he wanted to sell me. It was just stuff I didn't need. So, but I did the 2 for 15. First game is for the Sega Genesis, card only. It is Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle. One of the only Alex Kidd games actually on the Sega Genesis, as you can see. It is a little bit grimy, like it has like a weird feel, like a film feel to it. So I'm gonna have to, like, you know, maybe take some Windex to it, just clean it up. It just feels dirty, and I'm sure the contacts are probably dirty as well. But the game goes for, I believe, I think I looked it up, it was like $8 on my app, so $7.50. I basically paid what it's worth. Alex Kidd games are always a good time, so I don't mind paying that. The other game I picked up from him, Famicom game, of all things, Japanese Famicom game, and I have this game for the NES, but I try to get some of the titles I like. I try to get them on both Famicom and NES, but it is this game, which some of you may know what it is, but it's Fist of the North Star. Fist of the North Star, I do have it for the NES. I believe I have it handy. Let's see. Nope. Oh, yeah, here it is. So, just to give you an idea, that's Fist of the North Star for the NES. So if you look at it, it's you know, pretty similar character on the front there. Same exact game, just obviously one being a North American NES game, one being a Japanese Famicom game. And it's a pretty fun game. I like it. So to have it on the Famicom, pretty cool pickup. So he did the 2 for 15 on that. So they were $7.50 a piece. I'm not sure if that was a good deal on the Famicom game, but I wanted it, so I picked it up. Next place I went, they had a lot of games. I saw a couple I wanted to pick up, but just felt like they were overpriced, so I let them go. And as I'm leaving his booth, I noticed there was a box, and it was a dollar bin, basically. Everything in the box was $1. I need to do some research on these because I'm not sure. I've never seen them before. They don't really look... I don't know if they're actual... It's real tough. I don't know if they're actual releases or burned copies. If they're burned copies, they're pretty good. But they were $1 a piece, and I said for $1 I'll pick them up. For the PS1, first one is Star Wars Masters of something. I don't know, some name. This name. I can't pronounce it. I had never come across this before. I've never seen it for the PS1, never come across it. My buddy John, who was with me, said that it's like Mortal Kombat with Star Wars characters, which is always a win. It's like basically a fighter. So I'm alright with that. The weird part about the whole thing is that you don't really see any PlayStation logos on it at all. It's really strange. Like, the artwork has no PlayStation logo on the front. It has like the LucasArts, which is always a win, but there's no PlayStation logo. And then if you open it up, it's just a paper cover, no instruction booklet, and that's, I can't really see, but that's the disc right there. I know most of the PS1 games are black bottom. This is a silver bottom, and but it doesn't have like the rings like a typical burn disc. Like, it doesn't really have that look to it. And the weird part about it is that it actually has an Indiana Pacers basketball team logo on it, and it says players on it. So, and it's on the cover as well. So I'm not really sure what I got. It may be a burn copy. I'm not sure, but for $1, as long as I put it in and it plays, it's $1, you know. The other game I picked up, same deal. It seems like it has that same Indiana Pacers logo. It says players on it. But this is Road and Track presents the Need for Speed. It's like the original Need for Speed. This one, however, it does, I don't know, it's tough, man. I'm looking at it. Like, the disc itself, the case is broken, but the disc itself has the PlayStation logo on it. So that leads me to believe it's a little bit more legit. But it's a silver bottom as well. So it's just mixed signals coming from these games. I'm not really sure what they're about. The thing that I saw that I thought was kind of neat about it was that the spine says PlayStation, but it's a white spine. And the PlayStation games were always black. With the exception of, like, Greatest Hits would have the green stripe. So, I don't know. I got to do some research, guys. If you know anything about those games, please let me know. I'm not a real big buff on the PlayStation games. I don't really know a lot about them. So, you know, for $1 a piece, I don't really feel I got ripped off, you know, for $1. But I would just like to know what they are. I've never seen that type of setup before, and that's why I picked them up. So, not necessarily for the games, but anyway, leave some comments, and I'm going to do some Google myself, so we'll find out. And then the last booth I went to, picked up one Game Boy game with a case and its instruction booklet. It was $10, which it's probably a good price for it, but I just wanted the game, honestly. But it's Donkey Kong Land. for the original Game Boy in its little case here, and it did come with the instruction booklet. So I figured I'd pop that in the Super Game Boy, see if I like it. If I do, awesome. If not, maybe just sell it back off, whatever. But for 10 bucks, that's a pretty classic title to have in the collection. And I figured with the booklet and stuff and a case, 10 was probably good. And then I got 2 Super Nintendo games. Deal was 2 for 10, $5 a piece. So I picked them up. First one, I have this. The first part of this game should be in my NES collection. Let's see. Actually, I think it's up. I think it's up in the case on the wall. I don't feel like standing up. But this is the sequel, so to speak, or the second installment in this series. But it is Super Alfred Chicken for the Super Nintendo. I do have Alfred Chicken on the NES. You can see a little bit of peeling on the corner there, but not too bad. And Alfred Chicken was a great platformer on the NES, so I'm thinking this will be more of the same. I love my platformers on the 16-bit generation, and I'm hoping that this is somewhat the same. The app had it listed around $8. I got it for $5. Good deal as far as I'm concerned. And then the other game I picked up from the same guy, it was part of the 2 for 10. The other $5 I spent of that 2 for 10 deal. I've seen gameplay of this game, and good, some bad. Another platformer for the Super Nintendo, and just a game I've been looking up on eBay, trying to land a copy for cheap enough with shipping and all that kind of stuff, and I found it at this guy's booth, so I threw it in with Alfred Chicken and got the 2 for 10. That game is called Frantic Flea. Just a crazy game. Like I said, the gameplay is all over YouTube if you want to look it up. But Frantic Flea for the Super Nintendo. I love games that are just a little offbeat, a little off-center like that. And this is definitely one of them. It's a strange game, but you know, I'm looking forward to busting that out. And as soon as I can get my game hookup going on the Mac where I can do gameplay capture, that may be what I do as well. You know, I have a whole list of games I want to get out there for you guys. I just need to get this place settled. Yeah, so I mean, overall, just an awesome haul. What do you call it? Jake's Flea Market. And if you guys are in the area, definitely worth a shot. There's some game vendors who are there regularly from what I understand and stuff. So definitely worth a shot, worth checking out. So that's going to do it for this episode of Flea Market Sundays, guys. Till next time, ACCardShark. Take care.